Okay, so hi. Today we're with Christoph Kröger. Christoph is the Sustainability Officer for the 52 Super Series. Hello, Christoph.
Hi, Angus. Good to see you.
Good to see
How
you.
are you?
Things with you. Are you well?
Sorry?
Are you well?
Yes, I am. Okay. I'm doing okay. Yeah. We've been doing home office. I guess you're trying to figure out how life here in Spain is
Yeah.
during these challenging times. Yeah, and we are based in Valencia with our office, and we had a very, very strict confinement, and now they are easing the confinement, and we are in the middle of a de-escalation plan introduced by the government a couple of weeks ago. And so we hope for this to be over soon and that the world can start turning again.
And with the 52 Super Series itself, I mean, obviously, it was all about Cape Town, and you managed to get a race off in Cape Town, and then unfortunately the pandemic sort of took effect, really, didn't it?
Yes, that was very shocking at first, yeah, and then like so many other sports events, we had to cancel and postpone planned events for this season, and yeah, it struck us really hard because it was obviously a challenging topic for everyone, yeah, and not only for us, clearly. And so, yeah, it affects a lot of people. It has economical consequences, yeah, or impacts. And so, as everybody else, we were struggling in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. But you got round one underway in Cape Town, and did that go well? Was that a great experience to be in Cape Town and to have a round?
I think you've been to Cape Town before, correct?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Yeah, so Cape Town is an amazing place, a really nice setting to go sailing. The crews, the teams, they really enjoyed it there. The weather was fine, the wind was fine. I think we had one day where the wind wasn't that fine, but all in all, it was a great event, and we were really hoping to go back for the second one.
Yeah.
But then, unfortunately, the pandemic hit us all, and we had to cancel.
Yeah, and then the boats obviously stayed down there for a while. But I know some of the teams managed to actually get home, and I think I saw people, like Fergal, doing a lot of help for local hospitals in Mallorca, making sort of face masks and things for the local hospitals.
Correct. The boats, we couldn't get them out of Cape Town, or at least not in time before they had their local lockdown or confinement in place. And so the boats were trapped there for a couple of weeks, and we managed to get them out finally. And a few shore crew stayed behind or stayed down there as well, even during the lockdown. So that must have been also very challenging for them. Yeah. But I think now everybody's back to where they belong. And yeah, the boats are back in Europe.
Oh, great. And what's sort of the plan now then? The boats are all back in Europe, but obviously we've seen the cancellations of not just 52 Super Series events, but obviously boat shows have been cancelled, other sailing events have been cancelled all around the world. So what's the 52 Super Series? What's happening with them? I think we've seen you'll get a race off in Puerto Portales, hopefully.
Yes, that's what we are all hoping for, and it looks really, really good that we will have an event in Puerto Portales in Mallorca at mid-September. And this is going to be the TP52 or the Rolex TP52 World Championship, to be correct. And this was meant to take place in Cape Town during the second event. Yeah. So as this is one of our biggest and most important events during the year, the Worlds, we decided that the next event that could be eligible to host, or the next venue that could be available and be eligible to host the Worlds, we would go for that option, and that is Portales. And quite coincidentally, Portales hosted the Worlds last season, so they are pretty well prepared, and I don't see any issues there, except of course for the issues that everybody will face when organizing an event regarding the measures to be taken because of the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah.
And to come back to your question, sorry, I forgot to answer that when you were talking about the boats being back in Cape Town. When the confinement here started, here in Spain, we had a few shore crew sailors and other people who work with the fleet who got connected to a local organization in the Balearics called IB Salud. And what they did is they used their equipment like 3D printers and their skills to produce PPE, personal protective equipment. And so that was face masks, face shields, gowns, and what have you. And they were collected, and it was like in the Balearic only, it was like 200 people trying to help the healthcare or frontline workers with providing protection equipment. And in total, I think they managed to produce more than 10,000 pieces of equipment during 3 or 4 weeks. And here in Valencia, we had a similar thing going on. One of the sailmakers of the teams, he started producing masks and gowns and reusable masks, cloth masks, and he gave them to the hospitals and the frontline workers as well. And his wife supported him with distribution of the equipment. And so there were a lot of things going on. I know even in the US, some people started producing face masks, but on a much smaller scale. And so yeah, they all tried to keep busy during those times and tried to use their skills and their time, and some even invested their own money to do something good, yeah, and to help the fight against the pandemic.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, when you have time on your hands, and it's so good that the teams all got together and did something like that. So,
yeah, we were really impressed by that. And if you want to know or learn about what they did, you can find it on our website. Yeah, we of course published that on our website.
Yeah,
there you can read about all the details.
Excellent. And I mean, of course, we'll talk about sustainability. So the focus really of the 52 Super Series, or a massive focus, obviously not just about the sailing and the racing, but sustainability is at the forefront of the series, and it really is leading the way in showing others how you can run a Grand Prix circuit sustainably. And we've seen obviously so many initiatives done by the 52 Super Series, and probably started by the 52 Super Series throughout events. Could you talk to us a little bit about some of the initiatives that are being done, throughout this year, or have been done last year and in the past, etc.?
Yes, sustainability, as you mentioned, is at the core of our DNA at the Super Series. And we have a small team only taking care of sustainability. That's me and my Chief Sustainability Officer, Lars Böcking, who is a really inspirational and visionary person or individual. And so with him driving it passionately and me doing the groundwork, we managed over the last 4 years to build up a really strong sustainability platform and put it in place within the circuit. And we regard ourselves as influencers, and that's what we tell everybody in the circuit as well. Yeah, it's not only about doing stuff, but you want to influence people. Yeah, be it venues, be it other sailors, other teams, other events, individuals, your peers, friends, family, children, grandparents, what have you. And everybody can influence others to do better. Yeah, and I think that's one of the main challenges in sustainability, to convince the people, because at first it seems like extra effort and extra work that you have to put in. Yeah, but after a while you get so used to it that you regard it as a routine or as normal. Yeah, so that's what we started with way back in 2015. And over the years, we got an ISO certification awarded, the ISO 21221, which was put in place for the Olympic Games in London in 2012. Yeah, and this is an ISO certification for sustainable event management. Yeah, that was one of our pillars there or one of our big challenges that we had to go through. Then we provide the entire fleet with a hydration station, so they can use reusable bottles instead of single-use plastic bottles. We have single-use plastic-free caterings everywhere we go. Yeah, we also try to source sustainably, yeah, which is still a big challenge for everyone, I guess, not only for us. Yeah, and because we travel from one country to another when we go to different venues, yeah, you always face different kind of legislation, different kind of maturity of knowledge of the individuals you're working with. So it is a challenge, and as we always say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, and we've got many initiatives in place. Maybe to point out one of the most successful initiatives, which is our ambassador program. That means that each competing team has to nominate or identify a sustainability ambassador before the beginning of the season, and then we'll meet with them at least once during each and every regatta and talk about sustainability, brainstorm about new ideas, give them advice on how to recycle and how to compost, what to do with food waste. Yeah, and so in the beginning it was a lot of preaching. Yeah. But now it has turned around completely, and actually the ideas are coming from the group. It's an actual work group now.
I was going to say, going back to your influencing point, you know, the 52 Super Series has really influenced all the teams. Yeah, I can imagine that, yeah, maybe at the beginning it was preaching, but I've seen myself from the teams how involved they are now and how many ideas they bring to the platform, you know, into the series themselves. And probably
well, they play an essential role in our whole sustainability program.
Absolutely. All right, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Christoph, for giving us your time and speaking with us today. We really look forward to seeing you in Puerto Portales, hopefully in September. Yeah, can't wait.
Well, thank you for having me, Angus. And I just wanted to point out thanks to you individually, and of course to EcoWorks Marine for being such a strong sustainability partner with the circuit. Yeah, with you guys, Blue Water, and our sustainability sponsor, 11th Hour Racing, I think we are pretty well set up to face the oncoming challenges in the future and to strengthen and broaden our sustainability efforts continuously.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers, Christoph.
Bye.
Bye now.